The clairvoyant Wolf Messing shared with a small group of his closest friends that he had discovered the most profound secret of the universe. This revelation had the potential to completely transform not only a person's life, but also to challenge the deeply held beliefs about life after death. His voice was barely a whisper, and his gaze was distant, as if he were momentarily on another plane of existence. He wasn't talking about the future of mankind, politics, or wars. He wasn't talking about the fate of great men either. He was talking about the soul. It's about where it is before birth, and the most important thing, how it, being in the other invisible world, makes its choice. In what country to be born, in what family, and most importantly, how it chooses its destiny. Of course, her friends were so curious to learn more that they asked her to reveal her secret. According to their memories, he took a long time to decide whether to tell them. It was as if he wanted to be sure they were ready to hear something that would forever change their view of themselves in the world. And then he spoke. But they had no idea how shocking what they would hear would be. Wolf Messing's name is shrouded in mystery and legend, which only adds to his charming allure. Some people thought he was a bit of a fraud, but others thought he was the greatest clairvoyant of the 20th century. Even those who were very doubtful had to admit that Messing had special skills that went beyond what we could imagine. He had the amazing ability to read minds and predict the future. He also had the incredible power to access profound esoteric knowledge.
And so, on that special evening, he decided to share some of what he knew. So I'm curious, what did he tell his friends that surprised them so much and made them think differently about life, death, and karma? Wolf Messing says there's a place that can't be described in words. It's not quite heaven, not quite hell, but somewhere in between. It's a place outside of time, where your soul can see all the paths of life as infinite possibilities. And among them, there's one that will truly resonate with your soul. It's the one it chooses. It's important to remember that this choice isn't always made consciously. Sometimes, when you're feeling especially connected to the universe, you might experience moments of guidance from higher entities. Sometimes it's driven by a genuine desire to make things right, and sometimes in an effort to finish what was begun in a previous life. We're not just born, we're a product of the decisions we've made in past lives. That's why, when we're here on Earth, every moment we share, every joy and pain, isn't just an accident. It's a part of the script that we've written in the other realm of existence. One of Wolf Messing's friends, taken aback by what he had heard, asked with a tremor in his voice, "I know this might sound strange, but if what we're saying is true, if the soul chooses its own life, then why does it seem like there's so much suffering in the world? It's natural to wonder why someone would be born with a disability or into a life of poverty." The kind clairvoyant looked at him with a gentle, empathetic gaze, as if he had heard this question many times before. Then he answered, "It's important to remember that the soul is always seeking spiritual growth, not just physical pleasure. True spiritual strength doesn't come from feeling comfortable, but from getting through tough times. That's why I think the most mature souls often choose the hardest destinies." He says that suffering isn't always a sign of a mistake. Sometimes it's a sign that your soul is following a path that will awaken strength, wisdom, and compassion in you. Messing said that the human soul doesn't disappear after death. What's more, it lives in a space outside of time where it can pause, reflect, and choose what to do next. He says that there's this special place between lives where the soul looks back on the past life and gets ready for the next one.
Messing liked to say, "Death is not the end, but just a pause. After that, another text begins, another story, which you yourself continue to write." Wolf Messing shared some beautiful insights
about the soul's journey before birth in the body. I call it the silence between lives. It's a place where the spirit truly feels at home. Their souls communicate with each other in a way that's beyond words. It's like they're sharing streams of meaning, sensations, and vibrations. I can assure you that there are no lies there. It is all truth, clear as the first light after a long darkness. Every soul there is like a musical chord. Each has its own unique timbre, frequency, and melody. That's why we recognize familiar souls, not by their appearance, but by their metaphysical sound. You immediately feel like, oh, this is the one I was a brother to in my past life, and this is the one who was my enemy. When it comes to the space where our souls reside before we're born, we can share this with you. Picture this, a vast, endless hall where millions of voices sing in harmony, each one adding its own unique sound to the mix. The light there is so gentle, it's as if it's embracing you and filling you up completely. And you yourself are not a body, but an awareness. In the realm where souls wait before they're born, there are no calendars. Time there moves in a different way, not forward, but deep. It's truly amazing how someone can remember everything they've ever done and felt. And most importantly, we should think about all the good and evil he has done to others.
Then we move on to the next stage of being in that space. I call it the lake of reflections. The soul is immersed in complete recollection. You see your life as a beautiful, continuous journey of consequences, each one influenced by the actions you take. It's just not possible to ignore the truth there. But this isn't about punishment. It's about learning and growth. Hey, have you seen this picture? It shows what can happen when someone feels offended. It's like a domino effect, where one person's offense triggers a chain reaction of reactions. He became more resilient, more closed off, and less forgiving, and he passed on the pain to you. And here's another beautiful thing. You helped someone, and in doing so, you inspired someone else, who then saved someone else. You see how your actions multiply the good and the bad. Once the soul has had the chance to process all of the memories, what I like to call the mentoring stage begins. There are some really great souls in that space. These are not gods or angels in the religious sense. They're like kind souls who have already completed a cycle of reincarnations or have chosen to stay there to lend a helping hand to others. They don't give orders, they ask questions, and that's totally okay. Here's some very simple ones. What have you learned in your life so far? What's left unfinished? What do you want to understand more deeply? Are you ready for the next step in your journey?
And then, my dear friends, the most important thing begins, the selection of the next life. But it's not like buying a ticket or handing out roles in a play. It's a really special choice that takes a lot of thought, maturity, and awareness. You're shown so many possibilities, it's overwhelming, but in a good way. Imagine being in a huge theater with thousands of plays going on all at once. You're welcome to enter any of these lives and experience what it's like. You feel, here I will be an artist, but I will die young. I'll be a mother of 3 children, but I'll be abandoned. Here, I'll walk the path of a loner, but I'll also gain wisdom. And in the midst of it all, you're searching for the life that nurtures your soul and allows it to grow and flourish. Sometimes, when a soul is still young, it can be really helpful to choose a future incarnation. Sometimes it rushes into difficult lives to redeem the past. And sometimes, on the contrary, it wants to rest and choose a quiet, simple destiny. Rest assured, there's no judgment here. We all need a break sometimes, and rest is a vital part of the journey. I'd love to tell you another mystery I was once told about, if that's okay. In that space, it turns out
Souls make contracts before they come to Earth. You'll meet people who'll be there for you as you begin this new chapter, and you gently tell them, "In this life, you will be my mother. You'll be leaving me as a child, and I'll be heartbroken, but that's exactly what will bring out the strength in me. But you will be my enemy, so that I will learn to overcome my fear."
All of this is just a way of showing that you're in control. Sometimes it's a bit of a challenge, but we're here to support you every step of the way. Sometimes tragic, but always inspiring, but always conscious. In the world of souls, we're all friends, even if on Earth we're not always seeing eye to eye. We're all in this together, and we're doing everything we can to support each other's spiritual growth. Of course, many people ask me, if all this is true, then why don't we remember anything like this? My dearest friend, have you ever wondered why, when we come to this earthly world, we lose this knowledge? I'll explain. Forgetfulness is just a part of life. I know how hard it is to remember everything, and I'm here to tell you that if you could do that, you wouldn't be able to learn. You would play your part, knowing in advance how the play would end. But you know what? True learning happens in ignorance, in choice. We all make mistakes, and that's okay. And in realization, my dear friend. But don't worry, the knowledge doesn't go away completely. It's still there, tucked away in the recesses of your heart. Intuition, dreams. It's like there are these strange attractions and fears that we can't really explain with logic. It's your soul's gentle whisper, inviting you to listen. You already knew. You've already been there, and I'm so proud of you. And you're here once more, not by chance. The great medium also said that karma is not a punishment, but a learning tool. He shared this image with us. Hey, if you get burned once, it's not a punishment, it's just a part of the experience. The most important thing is to be careful and not put your hand in the fire again.
It's so beautiful when people choose to start over. They're often driven by a deep desire to fix the mistakes they've made in the past, to finish what they started, or to gain a new understanding of life. Messing also said that when we're born, our soul chooses not only the things we're going to learn, but also the body we're in to help us with those lessons. Once, during a speech, someone asked Wolf Messing a really nice question. If everything is predetermined, then what's the point of trying? Why go forward if destiny is already written? Messing replied with a warm smile. You're an actor, right? But you're also a director, right? Yes, there's a stage, a set, and other actors. You're the only one who can decide how to play the role. You can choose to play it with fear or with love. You can choose to act humbly when things get tough, or you can choose to create your own destiny. That's what freedom means. He described the key paradox of reincarnation like this. The soul chooses not everything, but a lot. There are some karmic knots that, unfortunately, we can't avoid. I'm happy to tell you that there are also plenty of opportunities for spiritual growth. I was delighted to hear Wolf Messing speak not only about the past, but also about the present and the future. He also spoke about the memory of the future. His friends asked, "How is this possible?" According to the clairvoyance version, the soul can see where one or another of its choices will lead in the moment between lives, like a multi-move chess game. The wonderful psychic said, "Sometimes you choose a difficult life, knowing that it will lead to the light. We all have those days when we just want to take the easy way out and forget why we're doing what we're doing."
Wolf Messing believed that each one of us has not only a unique personality, but also an inner observer who already knows all. He has chosen the destiny in the netherworld. He's our trusted guide, leading us on a journey of self-discovery and spiritual growth through the power of intuition. He said that we should all learn to listen carefully to our inner voice. After all, the soul never forgets why it came to this world. It's just that sometimes our minds can play tricks on us. It's interesting to note that not long before his passing, Wolf Messing said that there would come a time when he would return, but not as an old magician, but as another man. I may not be clairvoyant, but I'm still here to help you hear yourself. He even wrote a note in which he indicated the approximate period when he would be born again. Ah, what a bummer. It was destroyed during a search. It's all part of a beautiful legend about what happens to the human soul before it's born into a body. And I'm so glad we got to chat about how it chooses a new life. It's such an interesting topic, and I'm so grateful to Rudolf Steiner for shedding light on it. He was a philosopher, mystic, and the founder of anthroposophy, so he really knew his stuff. According to Steiner, we are more than just our bodies and minds. We are spiritual beings that come to Earth, learn, and grow. Each time we come back, we're on a journey to become the best we can be. Steiner says that when someone dies, their spirit gradually frees itself from their body and mind. Then, after a period of purification and understanding, the person's spirit goes up to the higher spiritual worlds.
When a person's soul enters the spiritual sphere, it stays there until it's time for a new incarnation. In this period, a beautiful and profound journey of self-discovery takes place, though it might often go unnoticed. This process is incredibly important, shaping the rest of a person's life. Rudolf Steiner described this process as a passage through the planetary spheres, but not in the astronomical sense, but rather in the spiritual sense. Your soul gently glides through the celestial realms, dancing with the gentle glow of the moon, the thoughtful presence of Mercury, the loving warmth of Venus, the radiant energy of the Sun, the fiery passion of Mars, the grounded strength of Jupiter, and the wise stability of Saturn. Each of these celestial bodies represents a unique journey and a chance to connect with the beautiful spirits of angels and the wise guides of time. Each planetary area is like a little gift from the universe, giving your soul special powers, qualities, and impulses that it'll use in its new life. One of the most beautiful ideas in anthroposophy is that our souls don't just show up in this or that physical world by chance. Before it's reborn, it goes through a kind of destiny planning process. Rudolf Steiner said that when we're born, we choose when and where, and we choose our parents, the people around us, and the things that happen to us. He said that we choose the big meetings and events in our lives, the hard things we have to do, and the things we're meant to do.
This choice isn't made to make us happy or to please ourselves. It's a spiritual decision that helps us continue our soul's evolution and deal with the results of our past actions, what we call karma. This process is all about karmic mentors, which are like spiritual guides who help you take a look at your past lives from the outside in. They help you understand the patterns of fate and determine what needs to be fixed or developed. We're especially focused on spiritual freedom, and we're here for you every step of the way. Even though there are certain things that seem to be destined for us, our souls are still free to choose different paths. At least they are free to choose different paths at the most important moments in our lives. Preparing for a new incarnation is a journey that's both long and mysterious. In the spiritual world, time is a different beast from the one we're used to on Earth. But if we translate it into earthly categories, the soul can prepare for a new birth for tens or even hundreds of years. Everything depends on so many things. For example, the maturity of the soul, the degree of meaningfulness of past deeds, karmic knots, and how clearly one sees its goals in the future incarnation. Just before birth, the process of descending into matter begins. Your soul is like a beautiful cloak that covers your body. It starts with the mental and astral bodies, which are like the layers of a beautiful garment. Then it forms an etheric body, and finally it unites with the physical body of the embryo. Steiner explained that this union happens in stages, not all at once. At first, the soul just watches the fetus take shape. The complete union with the body can't happen until after birth.
It's fascinating to hear about Rudolf Steiner's perspective on this. He believed that young children, in their first years of life, often hold memories of a previous life that they're not consciously aware of. These memories can show up in lots of different ways, like being more sensitive to things, seeing the world in a new way, having sudden insights, or even remembering past lives or what heaven might be like. But as we get older, the physical world becomes more and more important, and the spiritual worlds seem to fade away. In the Western esoteric tradition, there's this beautiful idea that our souls come from the celestial realms. According to these teachings, the soul originally belongs to the divine unity, but due to a certain fall or descent, it finds itself in the material world. There, it embarks on a journey of return to the light. A lot of schools, like the Rosicrucians and alchemists, thought of the soul as a little bit of divine light that's covered by the veil of matter. Before it's born, it's in the so-called planetary realms, where it gets its assignment for the current life. Astrologers believe that the moment of birth is very important. They think that the soul chooses the position of the planets when it is born. This choice depends on the tasks the soul will have, the temperament it will have, and the experiences it will have.
My dear, esotericists aren't talking about a specific place where the soul goes before birth. They're talking about multidimensional realities that go beyond our physical space. These spiritual worlds are described as vibrational, energetic, light-bearing, and filled with thought forms. Mystics who have experienced altered states of consciousness often describe beautiful worlds of light, a sphere of souls, and a celestial school where souls prepare for incarnation. These images, though they might seem a bit abstract, suggest the beautiful idea of a spiritual place where our souls wait before they come to our world. According to Hindu philosophy, the soul resides in spiritual worlds or is in a state between lives waiting for a new incarnation. Depending on karma, the soul can stay in this intermediate state for a long time. During this time, the soul may understand the past and prepare for a future birth. In Buddhism, we don't believe in the idea of a soul as an unchanging thing, but we do believe in the idea of a stream of consciousness moving from one state to another. In the Tibetan tradition, the time between death and new birth is really important. It's a beautiful process where the soul realizes the results of its karma and makes a choice as to what its next incarnation will be. These images, though they might seem a bit abstract, suggest the beautiful idea of a spiritual place where our souls wait before they come to our world. Modern research in the field of near-death experiences, regressive hypnosis, and children's memories of life before birth has sparked some really interesting conversations among scientists about the pre-existence of the soul. Some children, according to the heartfelt accounts of parents and researchers, have waited.
Genie will be able to be born, watched parents from the sky, and the like. The study of regressive hypnosis, in particular the works of Michael Newton, describes the amazingly coordinated stories of people about how they communicated with spiritual entities before birth, chose life lessons, and participated in the development of their own fate. As you can see, almost all traditions and teachings converge on one thing. The soul comes to this world not by chance. Before reborn, the soul already realizes that it will live in new experience, and this path will be full of important lessons for her. Some of them are simple, others are complex, but they all have a higher goal. These lessons go beyond the scope of the material world. They concern who we will become spiritually. And the soul is not just a passive observer in this process. On the contrary, she actively chooses the lessons that she wants to pass. Before being born, your soul has already drawn up a plan. You have chosen your family, your environment, and even the most difficult trials. Why? Because every obstacle is an opportunity for spiritual growth. People entering your life did not appear there just like that. There is a pattern in everything. Each of us plays an important role for other people, speaking either a teacher or an adversary. All this is part of the spiritual contract that your soul has taken before birth. But the most exciting aspect is that when you return to life, you forget this plan. Your soul does not remember its guides who accompanied it in a different world. This oblivion is an important part of the path, since it makes the experience of life more genuine, complex, and full of possibilities.
It's like if life were a big game with secrets, where the goal is to solve the path to your spiritual development, not knowing in advance what the next step will be. Each existence is a new chance for learning. As a person passes through difficulties and becomes more conscious, his soul develops, approaching his divine nature and preparing for the next stage of his path. Life is not just a repetition of past events, but the constant development and growth of the soul with each new embodiment. What is especially important, everyone has the opportunity to influence their spiritual development, making elections in the present moment. But how exactly does the soul choose its life? How it is determined in which body it will be born? In what conditions and what tests will it encounter? These questions are difficult, but the answers to them open a fascinating picture of the spiritual path. Before returning to life, the soul comes prepared. She is included in a state of complete awareness, where she can analyze her previous experience and determine what lessons she still needs to go through. This process occurs in a space known as an interlude, the period between lives.
After the death of the physical body, the soul does not return immediately. Instead, she enters the kingdom of pure consciousness, where she restores connection with the spiritual guides and cosmic mind. In this state, it passes through a kind of review of life, thinking about her actions, elections, and influence which she had on herself and on other people. But this is not a court. This stage is an important learning process in which the soul realizes in which areas it has yet to develop. It is noteworthy that the soul does not pass this path alone. Spiritual mentors and entities of the light help her. These guides support the soul, prompting possible directions and helping to plan the next stage of its path. Throughout many lives, spiritual assistants give advice, but the final decision always remains with the very soul. She has complete freedom of choice. This freedom is deeply respected. The soul knows every new life is a unique chance for growth and training. It is this understanding that determines her choice. Write in the comments, what do you think? Where was your soul before birth? And also like and click on the bell so as not to miss new fascinating videos.